Okay, y'all. So I'm gonna make a quick, short video. This is gonna be a non WWE video. This is just, something I wanted to speak on. And this video is gonna be about 187 Derrick. Now, I've heard of 187 Derrick damn near going on probably like 5 years now. But I discovered him because when he first came out, this was kind of when it was the Lit Yoshi beef, and when the TBG and 4K Trey beef was, I want to say, like at an all-time high. Like that was pretty much running YouTube when Young Boy was like getting really famous. And he was one of those, younger rappers that would take like the beats of like Lit Yoshi or somebody that already had a song that was kind of going viral, and then he raps on it, and then it just never works that way because you already have someone that already had a hit song, and then you get on it. It's not really studio quality, but they still release it. So when 187 Derrick first came out, I was like, okay, dude, like, stop. Like, you could go do something else with your time. Don't, I ain't gonna say don't try to be a rapper, but all of the dissing and stuff like that is like, his songs wasn't hitting on nothing like when he first came out. Then, the algorithm kind of, took him out of at least my algorithm. And then I want to say like 4 years go by, and I want to say about 3 months ago, he kind of comes back on the radar, and okay, I check out some of his songs. And that time frame, a lot of stuff happened that I was not paying attention to. The algorithm ain't had it. This was like, a lot of people wasn't checking for 187 Derrick. Like his music was just not going through the algorithm. It was getting 1,000 views here, 900 views there, which the views and quality of music don't matter, because you got people that got great beats, great songs, great rap lyrics, and don't even pass, they'll have a video 200 views and it's been like 5 years. So listen to some of his music and the quality went way up. He's starting to get beats from famous beat makers and stuff like that. And I mean, his lyrics and, the ad libs. And I'm like, okay, 187 Derrick, he putting that work, he in the studio making music that, if he was to drop, a mixtape or a CD, whatever, he can start competing. Now, I didn't know 187 Derrick was 4KT. Seems like he was. I wasn't really into the whole backstory, but he started naming people, and you start to put the puzzle pieces together. I always thought he was friends with like BBGD or whatever. Now BBGD, he was one that even when he first started, his music was good, but things in life transpire, and he gave that like gangster music up. Seems like he changed his life around, which music is one thing, street life another thing. A lot of people try to mix the two. the famous rappers who make it out, they'll always tell you you can't mix the two. You gotta pick one. But the thing that I'm saying here, it just seems like, okay, 187 Derrick had a chance. I think he was gonna blow up. Especially if he had NBA Youngboy and his, label mates who do rap, if they started to collab, I would project 187 Derrick to be a big player in the rap game, years going forward. Like 2026 would probably be his year. I could have actually seen him skyrocket. Even if it wasn't like mainstream or nothing like that, but definitely locally, he would have had Baton Rouge, New Orleans, like he would have had Louisiana, listening to him for sure. But then, what it was, maybe a week ago, week and a half ago, 2 weeks, he gets shot, he's dead in Lake Charles, I believe. I think that's where it was, Lake Charles. And I'm just like, okay, well, this isn't a Baton Rouge, Boosie always saying, leave your city, So I thought when I saw Lake Charles, I was like, maybe they call him slipping in Lake Charles or something. But, the story's still ongoing. But a lot of people are saying, this wasn't a hit or nothing like that, that it was like a robbery. Didn't want to give up the chain or whatever, or a car or whatever they wanted. So they took him out. I don't know if they took the chain or what happened, but that's just sad and unfortunate, because 187 Derrick was definitely about to pop off. If you just listen to the last 3 months of the music he was dropping, it was only gonna get better from there. Like, that's kind of what this scene needed. It wasn't necessarily just jig music or dance stuff, but the beats, the lyrics, it seemed like he was really getting comfortable with his voice, with the way he pieced up bars and stuff like that. It seemed like he did a lot of practice. So I honestly don't think, when people like, oh, the street life kept, catch up with you. It wasn't even seem like it was one of those type of deals. It just seemed like robbery gone bad. It wasn't oh, he had a stoplight in Baton Rouge and, they sprayed the car. Like, it wasn't even none of that. It just seemed like robbery gone wrong. Didn't want to give it up. But like I say, a chain, a car, you just got to take that L. Like, it's not worth dying over. Like, you going to get another car. Like, you going to buy a car, 3 years later, you going to want another one. You wear the same chain over and over again. Most people, they be having a chain, then they go get another chain, and then they redesign this logo, so now you're wearing this new chain. I mean, if you a rapper, somebody catch you slipping, take the, they could have that chain. And honestly, 187 Derrick, he wasn't that popular to be fighting nobody over a chain. Like, take your chain. Oh, if they make a video about it, oh yeah, we robbed you for your chain or something, like, there's ways to combat that. Like, I mean, if you drop good music, nobody gonna care. Like, did anybody stop listening to Gunna after all of these snitch allegations and all that? Anybody stop listening to Tekashi 6ix9ine? No. If you a rapper or whatever and they want your car chain, give it up. Go back in the studio, make some good music, and it's over with. But hopefully, they got some unreleased 187 Derrick music that's gonna come out. They piece up his last mixtape or whatever he was working on, cause man, we would have liked to get some more music from him going down the line. I mean, it was almost to the point. We know PY is like the Equate young boy, but if you really listen to 187 Derrick, I would have gave him maybe 5 years with some good backing, some good management. I mean, he could have been at the top. I mean, like XXL freestyle, and maybe made it to one of them platforms. Probably would have got the Vlad TV interview. I think he was going places, but y'all go check out his music. I mean, just listen to the last 3 months. I mean, that was good. He was going hard. At least the last 3 months, rediscovering him. He had his own lane, but y'all could put in the comments, what's y'all favorite 187 Derrick song? Peace.